Alright, I'm about to show you something here. Since I only have cold water and no more hot water at all. So I'm going to show you. If I turn on the cold water, I get some water. Hot water, absolutely nothing. Okay, so I need to take a shower. I haven't taken a shower in days. If I turn it on to the hot, that's all I get. That's what I get when I turn on when I turn on any water at all. If I set it to completely cold, that's the flow rate of the shower now. Ice cold, dripping shower. That's all I get. This motherfucker, every time he fucking comes over here to say he's gonna fix this fucking shit show, it ends up even worse than it was the day before. Alright, so it's your boy Adam, back at you once again. So now instead of taking showers, I get to basically get a fucking washcloth wet with some soap and water and scrub out my fucking ass crack and my ball sack. And that's about the closest I can get to taking a fucking shower for the rest of the time I'm here. Every time this motherfucker turns around to say he's gonna fix this thing, it ends up worse than it was. I hope the shoddy workmanship, I hope that the unlicensed Home Depot parking lot contractors that show up to do his fucking work for him, I hope they fucked up the gas situation to the point where his house explodes after I'm gone. I hope I see a news report where there's a big crater in the ground and a bunch of debris spread out in a 360-degree radius where this motherfucker's house used to be. I swear to fucking God, I am so sick of this fucking piece of shit Slumlord. And, you know, he told me from day one he's a big Trump supporter, so the term fuck around and find out is definitely in his vocabulary, and he done fucked around, he's gonna find out. I'm fucking done with this shit. This is the most ridiculous fucking shit I've dealt with in my entire life of dealing with landlords and this kind of stuff. This is the best I can do shaving. I used my electric beard trimmer to scrape off what was there already. What you saw earlier in the last video. And the water pressure in the shower is so low I can't even wash the hair pieces down the fucking drain anymore. This fucking piece of shit Slumlord has made this place completely uninhabitable. Like, it's not even livable. I would be better. I live better when I go camping out of a fucking tent. I live better when I go backpacking in the woods, out in the middle of the wilderness, than I'm living in this fucking shithole slum. I'm fucking sick of this piece of dog shit. But don't worry, I've got shit. Shit's moving along. He fucked around, he's about to find out. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm fucking done. I'm done. SS Patience left the harbor on April 3rd. Destination unknown. Don't give a fuck. That shit is out in the wild blue yonder. I have no idea where it is. All I know is it's never coming back. Shit's gone. That ship has sailed, and it's never coming back to this harbor ever again. So, how this story ends is yet to be unknown, but the ending is being worked on, and it's going to be spectacular. I am not one to be fucking trifled with, I will tell you that right now. I have been patient for way too long now. That's done. That shit is over and done with. So, that's all I can say. I can't get into the nitty-gritty details. We're just going to see what happens. I did find out that, well, I already knew that my bicycle ride last Friday, the 78-mile bicycle ride, turned out to be for nothing. I had to do it though. If you knew the details and you knew why I had to do it, you would have done it too. You'd have been like, oh, you definitely got to ride out there and see what's up. It was a good opportunity. It just wasn't the right opportunity at the right time. Could have been really cool though. Definitely. So many different aspects of it that could have been really cool, but I got confirmation today. Even if I hadn't made up my mind about whether I wanted to follow through with this opportunity or not, the opportunity no longer exists, so it's fine. I made my choice. I made my choice before I got to Chipotle, to be honest. But in the back of my mind, there was still maybe some hope that somehow something could be worked out. Nah, it's all right. Move on. Live another day. I've got a lot of irons in the fire right now, as usual. We're just gonna see what happens. Today, the last video that you watched was filmed this morning. You can see I'm still wearing the same fucking shirt I've been wearing. Why does it fucking matter anymore? Why should I even bother changing my clothes? Can't take a fucking shower anymore. Haven't really been able to take a real shower, since sometime in January. And now we're in the middle of April. 2.5 fucking months without taking a proper shower. I did get to take 1 or 2 hot showers while waiting for the natural gas water heater to explode. Before it stopped working, I was able to get like 1 or 2 hot showers. Like 15-minute. Not great. This whole place is fucked. So I'm done with it. Things are about to happen, and they're gonna happen pretty fast when they do. I don't know all the details yet, but things are being worked on to resolve this situation, and it will be resolved, believe me. It's going to be more than resolved. I am not someone you ever want to fuck with. Not like this. My patience is gone. It's over. So we're on to phase 2 now. You don't fucking threaten me the way he threatened me. You don't fucking do. You're not getting away with it. I'm fucking over this shit. I don't even know. I might have sworn the first couple of minutes. I don't even know. Damn it. I'm 7 minutes in. I don't know. Well, YouTube might flag this one and demonetize it if I did swear in the first 2 minutes. We'll see what they do. I don't know. Maybe I can put a 2-minute intro on the begin. No, actually, it was did I swear when I turned on the shower? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna let it ride. YouTube gets a freebie if they demonetize it. I have no more fucks left to give at this point. All I've done since the day I got out of prison is try to do the right thing. But everybody wants to take a shit on me. Well, you're getting shit on right fucking back. I don't turn the other cheek when someone slaps me in the face. I fucking hit them back. So, Jesus and we'll have words about it someday. But there's a passage in the Bible where Jesus went through his father's house at the temple and flipped over all the money changers' tables and chased people out of the temple with whips. So Jesus wasn't always a nice guy either. At some point, Jesus was like, you know what? You fucked around and now you're going to find out. And that's what's going to happen in my situation too. So, I'll answer to Jesus, no. he slapped me in the face and I didn't turn the other cheek, I hit him right back. So, hard. So, we'll see what happens. Nothing's set in stone right now. And at the end of the day, I just want my stress. I want my life back. I want to be able to sit down and do my work and be left the fuck alone and just I just want to do the right thing, for fuck's sake. So according to my research now, I was talking about maybe doing DoorDash on a bicycle. They allow that. They do a background check as part of the process. Now I'm getting 5 emails a day from DoorDash saying, you can start DoorDashing right now. Just finish your background check. No fucking shit, Sherlock. I did my background check. They know the background check's in process. They must have a bunch of different computer systems that don't talk to each other, because they're sending me a bunch of reminders to do my background check. The background check is done. It's in progress. I did what I had to do. It's up to them. But right now I did some homework on this. I could expect it to take 7 to 10 days. I don't think it's been 7 to 10 days yet. I'm going to say give it 2 weeks from when I applied and started the background check. But according to my research, based on everything, the type of felony, the amount of time that's been passed, I have about a 30% chance of getting through and approved, and a 70% chance of being rejected. So I've already crossed that shit off. I'm a piece of dog shit, a complete worthless sack of shit that's not even a good enough person to pick up a bag of food and take it to someone's house. That's how much of a worthless piece of shit I am. Can't work at McDonald's, can't work at Target, can't work at Ollie's department store, can't fucking pick up a bag of food and take it to someone's fucking house. Because why? Because you're a fucking piece of shit who said bad things online. It's the end of it. So my options are fucking limited at this point. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me below. Leave the fucking dumbass comments that you always leave. Oh, just go start driving a truck. Just go drive a big rig. Go live in a van. I don't know how many people tell me go live. Well, first of all, I need a fucking van. Van costs at the bare minimum. I could get like a Ford Transit cargo van, a mini one, for about $5,000, and that's probably one that's barely gonna fucking run and probably be broken down all the time. But it just needs to get to where I'm gonna live out of my van, I guess. And once again, I'm on federal probation. They aren't gonna let me live in a fucking van. That's gonna be some sort of problem when it comes to the probation guy. Guaranteed. If I wasn't on probation, I'd already be living in a fucking van by now. I would have already figured out how to do it, said fuck it. Go pick a campground, pick a campsite, drive around the country until I can figure out where the fuck I can get a fucking job somewhere. And then see what I can do from there. But right now I'm stuck. I can go pretty much anywhere from Houston to Corpus Christi all the way to the Mexican border in about three counties away from the coast. That's my region. That's where I'm allowed to go. But yeah, I'm just going to walk into a big rig truck driving company and say, hey, why don't you give me the keys so I can drive a big rig now? That's how easy it is. You just walk in the fucking door and ask for the keys. You can be a big rig driver now. So many fucking people leave this dumbass comment. Just go be a truck driver. And then some people are like, oh, you only got to wait 7 years. They only do background checks that go back 7 years. So after 7 years, you'll be able to get a job again. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to do for the next 6 fucking years? What the fuck are you supposed to do for the next 6 years while you wait until you're allowed to have a job again? Be homeless? Living on fucking food stamps? Fuck, man, I'm so sick of this fucking country right now. I've completely fucking lost my mind since April 3rd. Dealing with this fucking retarded ass bullshit from this dumbass piece of shit Houston slumlord. I'm telling you that much. I'm completely fucking gone off the fucking rails right now. I can't think straight. I can't do any. I haven't been as angry and out of my fucking mind since the day I got out of prison as I am right now. How I end up handling this is definitely the biggest test that I'm facing since the day I got out of prison. It's bigger, it's worse than being thrown out into the street to be homeless. It's like a 1 year anniversary, almost to the day. April 3rd was the first day when I got out of prison where I had a whole day to sit in an apartment and just chill. No, my bad. April 3rd was, so April 1st, April 1st, they told me I'm going home, and then they were like, April Fools, you got to stay another day. And then I got to leave, I got to leave on the morning of April 2nd, and by the evening, by 6 o'clock in the evening on April 3rd, that was stepping in the door for the first time into an apartment that was, I guess it was my residence for 45 days. But that was the first day I set foot in it, was April 3rd. And now April 3rd, exactly 1 year later, I'm being threatened by a piece of shit slumlord who's threatening to throw me out into the fucking street because he's a fucking piece of shit slumlord who won't take care of his fucking property and supply hot water to the tenant, and then demands that I pay more in rent in exchange for his generosity. Well, that fucking shit ain't gonna fucking happen. Oh my god, you have unleashed the fucking Kraken right now. No fucking idea what's about to happen. But, I gotta pray about this too. Because I am not the guy who will get slapped in the face and just turn the other cheek and give somebody the other cheek to smack it again. I won't. You fucking hit me in the face, you're gonna get punched in the fucking face. You slap me, you're gonna get punched. So, figuratively speaking, I'm not a violent person. But don't fuck around unless you want to find out. That's all I'm going to say. And I had a meeting today that there's shit in the works. This might just end gracefully, where, let's say in a few weeks from now, I can take a deep breath and just sit back and pretend that this never happened and just go about my merry way and go on with my life. Or it's going to get more intense. And I'm at the point where you don't back someone into a fucking corner like this and expect that, I'm like a snake that got backed up into a corner and now I'm going to bite. So it ain't gonna be good for the one getting bit. I shook my fucking rattle. I shook my rattle like 10 fucking times. I'm like, you better not. You better not take one more fucking step. Took like 3 more steps, fine, you're getting bit. That's it. It's over, bitch. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I'm trying not to judge the city of Houston based on based on these limited experiences that I'm having. I really never wanted to be in Houston in the first place. I want to be able to see my fucking children. but I was presented with three shitty options. The option number one, well, probation in Western New York wanted to get me out of there. They wanted me gone. They didn't want another case on their desk. They wanted to get rid of the paperwork. They wanted to just ship me off to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. I don't, I had a very limited. I never met the probation officer in person, but the woman who I dealt with in Pittsburgh, she seemed very caring. Put it that way. She seemed very concerned about my situation and what I was being put through, and the fact that I was being forced to flounder around being homeless. Like, she was shocked at how I was basically just tossed aside and left to rot. And I don't know what happened, or I don't know anything about what happened internally, but she got involved, and all of a sudden things started to happen. And she gave me the choice. She said, look, I'll support you staying there in Jamestown if you can find a job, or if you can figure out how to get on your feet. I know it hasn't been easy, and I know you're not having much luck. But if you are closing in on something, I don't want to rip the rug out from under you, is what she said. And I said, look, I've got a couple of possible opportunities, but I also stopped pushing really hard to find something up here because I'm being told I got to pack my shit and leave. So I put all of my effort, all of my eggs in the remote job basket, and just focused on my professional career. And then I started looking for freelance work, not really looking for it, but it came to me when I put the word out there that I would do it. Option number 2 was go to Pittsburgh, but they were going to stick me in a halfway house, which was basically when you're out in the street and you're free from prison, going to a halfway house means you're halfway back to prison. That would be like going back to prison. And they were going to leave me in a halfway house until I could figure shit out. And if you thought the fucking rules at the homeless shelter were ridiculous and hard to deal with, imagine going halfway back to prison and what that would be like. No. Fuck no. I'd do anything. I'm not even going to say if they were going to try and force me to go back to a halfway house after I'm already free. Free-ish. Let's just go to option number 3, was to come down and live with my best friend in Houston, Texas, and get a head start getting on my feet. If those are your 3 options, none of you would have picked any other option but option number 3. Nobody would. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to pack my shit and move all the way across the country. The only benefit I could see, other than having the opportunity to start getting on my feet, was the weather. If I'm going to rely on a bicycle for transportation and I can't afford a car and all that kind of stuff, at least Houston is not 30 below zero all winter long. At least it's not 19 months of winter in Houston, Texas, with 1 month of summer like you get in New York State. 11 months of winter followed by 1 month of summer, and then right back to 11 months of winter like you would experience in Jamestown. August 1st, it was 40 degrees outside during the day. August 1st in Jamestown. I wore a sweater every day from August 1st till the day I left in September, and when I got to Houston, I finally got to put a t-shirt back on. Didn't have to put a sweater back on till like the end of November, beginning of December. Jamestown, it's 11 months of winter, 1 month of good weather. So, Houston, if those were your 3 options, tell me you would have chose option 1 or 2. Option 3 was the only fucking option, so it was like, all right, let's go. They called me 2 weeks before I left and told me I was approved. Figure out a plan, make it happen, let us know what you're doing. just check in, let us know what's going on. You're good to go. You could do what you got to do. And really, it didn't seem like a bad, other than the distance and never being able to see my children anymore. And because if I lived in Jamestown, I could have definitely spent time with my son. If I could have got a place to live in Jamestown, it's not too far away. I could have my son's mother would have brought him up to me to spend time and to visit and to get, even just to spend a day here and there. So that got ripped out from under me. Pittsburgh, that wasn't an option. I wasn't going halfway back to prison. That wasn't going to happen. Not when I had two other options. A halfway house is different. When you're in prison and they send you to a halfway house, you're halfway out of prison. You're halfway to living back your normal life again, living on the streets and being able to have freedom again. But when you have freedom and you're out living, and due to nothing that you did wrong, due to nothing that was your fault, they're going to put you halfway back in prison? Fuck no, they're not. Not me. Not when I got two other fucking options to pick from. That's not even a fucking choice at that point. How many of you would go halfway back to prison, especially when you did nothing wrong to deserve being thrown halfway back into prison? I didn't violate anything. I didn't break any laws. I got fucked. I got thrown out into the fucking street. I didn't have a fucking choice in the matter. And I was trying to head that off before it happened, and the probation office in New York kind of fucked me in that regard. But that's all in the past. I'm here. I'm in Texas. It seemed like God wanted me to come here because he made so many things happen at the right time that everything fell into place, and it was like it greased the skids for me to get down here. And then I get here, and now I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I here? Just so I can, I really can't believe that he brought me down here just so he could throw me face down in the dirt and stomp on my face and shit all over me and throw me out in the fucking trash. But it's hot, so the trash will stink a lot hot. It'll stink a lot more because it's so hot down here. I can't figure out why the fuck I'm even here anymore. Why did I get brought to Houston? I don't. Maybe there's an answer. Wow, man. I know God would rather not see me so upset and angry right now. And because really, what is it? Okay, when we talk about anger, I've talked about this many, many times. It's fear leads to anger. So what am I afraid of that got me so angry? And there's this deep-rooted fear of becoming homeless again. That's number one. There's the fear of failure, the fear of going back to prison, the fear of doing everything I possibly can to make things right again and still being tossed back into the joint or tossed out into the streets to live in a cardboard box when I didn't do anything to fucking deserve it. There's a fear level there, and that fear has turned into vicious anger. And it's not just, there's a fear of, there's anger just due to the way I've been treated since I moved into this dump. Not having hot water for fucking going on 3 months is unexcusable. Now, I just read a newspaper article about a guy who didn't have hot water for 6 years in his apartment. That's a strange article. Number one, it doesn't talk about in the 6 years you didn't have hot water, you never tried to, like, you never tried to get that fixed. But when he did try to get it fixed, he got evicted for complaining about it. And the eviction notice literally said that they were evicting him for complaining about the hot water, which is completely illegal. That's why it was on the news. It was a big news story because there's lots of, you can find this very easily and you can read news problem is every news article and everything that you see is the exact same story, just written by 20 different newspapers. And nobody followed up to, like, there's no follow-up story that I can find that says, hey, what happened to the guy after? It's just one of those Houston Slumlord 6 o'clock news specials, and they tell you the fucking story and then it's gone. They don't, no follow-up, no, hey, remember that guy who went 6 years without hot water? Here's what happened to him. And no, they don't follow up because the news cycle is 3 days old. Like, yeah, remember a week ago, some guy tried to burn down the governor's house in Pennsylvania? Yeah, that's over. We're not talking about that anymore. And then a couple days later, they sent up a bunch of fucking whores in spandex spacesuits to be astronauts for 10 minutes. And a bunch of whores go riding on to outer space on a giant dildo and spend about 10-15 minutes up in space, and now they're fucking heroes and they're astronauts now. But that's old news. That's like 4 or 5 days ago. That's like, we're not even talking about that anymore. I don't even know what the new news story is because I didn't feel like reading the fucking news last couple of days. I'm over it. I don't give a shit. Just some new dumbass shit show for 3 days, and then they'll come up with some other dumb shit to shove down our throats. It's like we got more news channels, 24-hour news networks. There's a dozen of them on anybody who has a cable TV subscription has 20 fucking channels of news 24 hours a day to pick from. And if you were to combine all the stories out of all those news channels and put them all together in the course of any typical day, you've got about 10 minutes of actual news. Out of all of these news channels combined, there's about 10 minutes worth of actual news. I don't know how that's even possible. But, so, it's just, God, I can't even think straight right now. I need a break. I need a fucking break from this non-stop shit. April 3rd, 1 year to the day, I came home, like actually walked in the door of what was home. Exactly 1 year later, this guy pushed the wrong fucking button on the control panel and set this fucking shit into nuclear meltdown. And I don't find that the least bit ironic that it was 1 year to the day. 1 year to the day. The exact day. Like, I don't find that to be at all coincidental. There's something going on here that's above my pay grade in the spiritual world, and I have no idea what to make of it right now. Why 1 year to the exact day did this all, like, it went from I can live with the situation to it's DEFCON 1 and I'm ready for nuclear war in the span of from one day to the very next. I'm trying to make sense of it. And I can't. 1 year to the exact day. Like, And I'm just trying to think. I'm like, how is there some meaning behind this that is like 1 year to the exact day that I ended up homeless? What's going to happen on that exact day? I believe it was May 17th. If you go back to my very first video, which I will do, that was day 2 of being homeless. So I'm going to guess that the very first video that I uploaded to this channel was on May 18th. That's my guess. I think it was May 17th. The first day, that was the first day I was homeless. So does that mean May 17th this year I'll be homeless again? To the exact day? Is that what I'm being set up for? Did God bring me to fucking Houston just to throw me in the fucking dirt and cause me to be homeless again? Just to be like, haha, you worthless piece of shit, fuck you. Enjoy your fucking shitty life. Like, is that why he brought me here? I don't understand. Or is something better about to happen? Because let's see, what did I do today to counteract? According to everybody, according to everybody I talk to, I have every right to be completely out of my mind right now. There isn't a single person among us going through what I'm going through and have been through who wouldn't be. Not one. It's perfectly normal to be going through this mentally. I've had enough. And I have to fight back. Like, I cannot just let things be the way they are right now without putting up a fight at this point. I cannot just passively sit back and let myself be taken advantage of like this. And I'm not. Believe me, I'm not. Number 2. I would like to resolve this peacefully, by the way. I don't want to have to push the button and launch the nukes. But the hatch on the submarine's open. The key is in the fucking thing. The glass covering the red button is, all I gotta do is push that button and the shit's over with. Right there. The key codes have been entered. The suitcase that the president's aide carries around carries the nuclear football. You know, the suitcase that the guard carries around that's handcuffed to his wrist. You'd have to cut the guy's arm off to steal the fucking briefcase. The briefcase is open. The punch card's in. The keys have been turned. The glass is up above. The button's right there. All you gotta do is push it. So, I wanna do it. So what did I do today that I can talk about? I had a brief meeting this morning that went well. I motivated myself. First of all, I slept in to recover my energy. Yesterday was rough. Today was better. Energy-wise, I've felt better. I have more. Tomorrow, I'll feel even better. Friday, I'll feel even better because if I have to go on any long bike ride for the reasons I can't talk about, it's not going to happen this week. I have a plan in the works right now of what I'm about to do, but I am very flexible. Things can change like that. So, and everything right now is just chaos, and it's like duct tape and coat hangers and flying by the seat of your pants, and I can't say anymore. It's unwarranted, it's undeserved. This shouldn't be happening, and I'm fucking pissed. Beyond your wildest imagination. You have no fucking idea how angry I actually am right now. But I'm over it. I'm done. Like, you cannot You can't keep poking a fucking bear and expect that the bear's not going to turn around and bite your fucking arm off. Poke the bear one too many fucking times and it's over. We're done. We're done. The bear left the fucking cave and is hungry and is looking to bite your fucking arm off. You poked it one too many fucking times. What else did you do today? So I had like chores, tiny house chores. Got all the clothes put away. I decided, okay, my focus is shot. So the technique I used to get things done today, I would work for 30 minutes, take a 15-minute break. This is a shitty way to motivate yourself to get things done on, unfortunately. But the way I was able to do it today, usually the way I do it would be work for like 2 or 3 hours and take a half-hour break. Work for another 3 hours, take a half-hour break. Today it was work for 30 minutes, take a 15-minute break. Work for 30 minutes, take a 15-minute break. Work for 30 minutes, take a 15-minute break, and I did this all day long. I didn't leave. The only time I opened the door to the tiny house was to take a bag of trash out to the trash can and come back in. Otherwise, the door was shut. The curtains are shut. I don't even want to see what's outside these fucking windows. I don't even want to see what's outside the windows. Don't even want to look out the window. No interest at all in seeing outside. In fact, when I went out to take the trash out, I had it in my head that it was going to be dark outside and it was still light. And like I was like, oh wow, weird, because I turned on the porch light before I opened the door, thinking it was dark outside, and the sun hadn't set yet because I didn't have any sense of time. I thought it was later than it was. Tomorrow and Friday, I plan on not even opening that fucking door. I'm literally not even gonna look outside. I'm not even gonna pull the curtain back and look out the window. Most likely. No, I take that completely back. My bad. I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow. So I'm going to do that. I've got an appointment. The person who I wanted to cut my hair, she wasn't working today. So I went back. You can only look 2 days in advance, 2 days ahead on their website. And so I wanted the girl who cut my hair last time to do it again. She did a good job. It doesn't need a lot, just needs the sides. Like, my hair is so thick that when if I go any more than 6 weeks between a haircut, it gets so thick that the temperature of my head, I'm a hot head, it goes up. The temperature of my head, it's like it gets so uncomfortable that I can't even, that's part of, if I can I'm just going to have it shaved right down to the skin. And it will have a cooling effect that will actually help me cool down emotionally, not just physically. It will have a major effect on my sanity just getting my hair shaved down to and just cleaned up and all the, especially because I can't take showers anymore. Fucking place. And it's like, in hindsight, they say hindsight's 20/20. I looked at places. I dealt with one scam artist after the next, because so many rental listings anymore, no matter what city you live in, Pittsburgh, Houston, Chicago, LA, New York, it doesn't matter. I would say 25% of all rental listings are complete and total scams. Scams where they're just trying to get you to give some access to your bank account routing and account number, or trying to get you to hand somebody money that they're just going to pocket and run off into the sunset and you'll never hear from or see again. A lot of scams out there. A lot. I think I found... Forget I said that. But there are a lot of scams out there. And so if you are looking for a place, the last time I was looking for a place when I moved here, I contacted at least 4 or 5 that turned out to be complete scams, but I sniffed them out. Just like applying for jobs now, you get all kinds of scam job leads that are just total scams, like people just trying to scam you out of your money, trick you into giving them your social security number, your bank account information, things like that, and then they're going to steal everything you have and run off into the sunset. Gotta watch it. People are out to rip you off on every turn. And if they do, you've got very little recourse. So the only thing you can do is protect yourself and do your homework and make sure, I know what to look for, especially with these rental scams. There's a process that I follow, and if the person I'm talking to doesn't reciprocate, the deal's off. Like, I'm not fucking around. There's certain things I will not do, and there are certain things that are just completely unacceptable, and I won't. So I'm looking for a place to live back in January, and there's not, like, I'm having such bad luck. One place that seemed legit ended up being a total scam. The guy refused. So I set up a meeting. I set up a meeting to go look at a place. And 2 hours before I'm supposed to leave, he tells me, I can't get permission from the tenant to let you inside the unit. So we're going to have to meet outside the unit, and I can show it to you from the outside, but we can't go inside. But don't worry, everything's... No, don't worry, I'm not coming to look at it. Don't worry, we're done talking now. That's what I said to him. I said, I don't deal with scam artists. And then he went through this whole elaborate thing to try and prove that he wasn't a scam artist. And I'm like, well, if you're not a scam artist, then you can let me into the apartment to see the inside, and you have a set of keys, and you can get permission from the tenant, especially if he's going to be out at the end of the month. Otherwise, we're not talking. And I would say like a week later, before the end of the month, it was listed as rented and taken down off of Facebook Marketplace. And this place wasn't like one of these obvious scams where you've got like a crystal chandelier with marble countertops and a spiral staircase and a beautiful brick McMansion with, in a rich neighborhood, and then it says only $500 a month. Yeah, bullshit. Like, right there. Anybody who responds to that ad and asks if it's available is a fucking retard. A place like that would rent for $4,000 a month. And you would have to be a doctor or a lawyer and verify your income and show your bank account and your tax returns and go through background checks, and like you would have an easier time buying that house than you would renting it in terms of the hoops and bullshit you'd have to go through. This house that I was going to look at was a tiny little fucking shotgun style cabin out in a place that looked like it was a borderline campground. It was like a neighborhood on the shore of a lake that looked like this is where people go chill on the weekends who live in the city of Houston to get away from it all. Kind of like the little cabin cities that you see in the Allegheny National Forest, where people from Pittsburgh go out there to chill out in the countryside on the weekends. All crowded next to each other. Like, that's another story I'm not going to get into, but it seemed legit for the price, and the photos looked legit. And I looked on Google Street View, and there it is, exactly as it is in the pictures, and everything seemed kosher. Until 2 hours before I was supposed to go look at the place, and the guy's starting to give me this fucking story about how we can't go inside, we have to view it from the outside only, but he has all the paperwork with him and he's ready to take my money. Bullshit, asshole. If you can't show me the inside of the fucking unit, then I'm not even coming out there. Fuck you. I'm not even going to meet you for this one. That's a huge, huge, huge red flag. And so there was scam after scam after scam after scam, and flaky ass landlords that would want to talk to you and then flake out. I can show the place, but I'll get back to you, and never get back to you, and just like constant, just, this is the kind of shit that happens. It was worse in Jamestown, way worse. But so I looked at a place finally, and it was absolute shithole. Like, way worse than what I'm living in right now. The bathrooms the bathrooms made the bathroom from the Saw movie seem like a nice bathroom. That's how horrible these fucking bathrooms were. Like, there probably had been dead bodies in both of the bathrooms of this place at one point in time. Because the bathroom in the first Saw movie was cleaner than the bathrooms in this fucking place, number one. Number two, I don't even know how you would keep it cool in the summer or warm in the winter. There were like exposed wires all over the place, to the point where I was afraid that, because the power wasn't turned on and the water wasn't turned on, so nothing worked. I couldn't test if anything worked. But here's how I looked at it. I was like, well, when they turn on the electricity for the place is going to catch on fire, probably instantaneously. But if I can get the water turned on the same day, all the leaking pipes and the burst water pipes will put out the fire. And so it'll cancel each other out. And I mean, this place was it was big, really big. Surprisingly big. I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it was from the pictures, but it was huge for what it was. And the price per month, it was the same price as the tiny house I'm in right now. The only difference is I would have had to pay the electric and water bill. And with the electric being so fucked up that the place would catch on fire, combined with the leaky pipes when you turn on the water, I didn't think I'd be able to afford, how much electricity does it take to burn down a house, and how much water do a bunch of leaking and burst pipes cost you every month. That, like, it didn't look like this motherfucker had any intention of fixing anything in there. And I talked to him, I didn't get a good vibe. I just was like, right off the bat, I was like, it would have been a 10-mile ride to the bakery on the bicycle, and I could have moved in there for, I had the money. I had the money to move in. Had the money to move in here. It was the same price, minus getting the utilities hooked up. So that was option number one. If I had moved in there, I think that the problems I'm having here would feel tame in comparison to the problems I'd be having there. It would have been way worse to be living there than here. For multiple reasons. other than the fact that, okay, all over Houston right now, they're building, slumlords are building these tiny houses to rent them out. There's some sort of ordinance that you can build one of these tiny houses on your property and you don't got to go through all the building codes and zoning and inspection bullshit. You can just build it and nobody has to come look at it, and you basically get away with building whatever the fuck you want as long as it's a certain size. And so a lot of these rental listings that you see now are either these tiny houses that people are just, it's a craze now. They're everywhere on the rental listings. These tiny houses in people's yards. Or people are parking a fucking camper, a fifth wheel camper or a Winnebago trailer or just a camper. They're parking a camper in their fucking yard and then they're renting it out as a rental unit, calling it a fucking apartment. Like, I don't find any fucking apartments when I go looking. And I'm in the fourth biggest city in the United fucking States. And the only thing I ever find on the rentals are shared rooms in a house, a camper, a literal fucking camping camper that you can rent, and a tiny house like I'm in right now. Those are the three things that you can rent here. I almost never see, I mean, I do see an apartment complex here and there. But that leads to my other things that I don't do. I will not fill out a rental application and pay somebody for a rental application. I've never done it once in my life. I'll never do it. Especially now. If I can't negotiate one-on-one, face-to-face, I give you money, you give me keys. It's not going to work. The rental application in Jamestown, New York, every single fucking landlord that I talked to demanded that I fill out a rental application and pay a $50 fee. And then if I was approved, they would let me go look at the apartment. I'm like, you expect me to pay you $50 for the chance to enter the lottery, and if I win that lottery, I get to go look at the apartment? You're out of your fucking mind. And I would just hang up. And that's what I would say. I'm like, no, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm like, they don't know anything about me. They don't know I got a felony. They don't know I'm homeless, etc. You know, I could just pretend that I was some, high roller. They didn't know any better. When they tell me, oh, you can, and these are for like slumlord shithole dumps in Jamestown. These aren't like nice apartments. These are like the bottom of the barrel, shittiest place you can live in the city of Jamestown. And these landlords are acting like I'm trying to move into Trump Plaza and take the penthouse suite in Trump Plaza and have, like, I'm going to have a nicer apartment than Donald Trump has in his own fucking tower. But I have to jump through hoops and, be approved as an elite member of Jamestown society to live in a slumlord shithole dump full of roaches and no hot water and, broken windows and no air conditioning and no heat. And pay $50 for a chance to maybe go look at the place before I even give the down payment and first month's rent. $50 to enter the lottery of... Fuck you. You're out of your fucking mind. I'm not paying somebody to show me a fucking apartment. You're the one that needs the fucking tenant. You're the one that needs to sell this to me. I don't need to sell myself to you. You're the one that needs the fucking money every month. There's other fish in the sea, motherfucker. I'm going to look elsewhere. I'd rather be homeless than kowtow to that nonsense. Fuck that. So that's something I'll never do. I'll never do it. I never have. I never will. I've been burned. I got burned this time. I would say out of all the places I've ever rented, I got burned once this time. I got burned when I was in college one time. had a couple of landlords that were shitty, but not, like, I wouldn't call them slumlords. They were just shitty people to deal with. And the rest were great places, and I rented from great people who took great care in their properties and appreciated the fact that they had a good tenant that took care of shit. And, like, most of the time this works in my favor. Most of the time my standards work in my favor. You can't have a perfect track record. You can get burned here and there. But I've played this game enough times to know that my way is better than other people's ways, because I've proven it. The last place I lived, I paid $1,100 a month for a 3-bedroom house with 3 fireplaces, a 2-car garage, a driveway big enough to park 20 cars without being boxed in, a tiny house that was separate from the house that was my office, a full furnished basement with a man cave and a fireplace, a workshop, 2-acre yard, 60-yard archery range that we put in, 500 acres of woods surrounding the place, another couple thousand acres of woods across the road, out in the middle of nowhere in Amish country next to a 30-foot waterfall right next to the house. You could open the window on the side and listen to the waterfall. All of that for $1,100 a month. My daughter came up to visit me shortly after I moved in there. She was paying $1,100 a month for a shitty little 1-bedroom apartment in Pittsburgh. And she was floored. She was like, how the fuck do you do this, Dad? How do you even... She was just like pissed at herself. She was pissed off. She's looking around. She's like, oh my God, you got like an MTV Cribs house. Like literally, like they're coming over next week. Like this is the kind of house P. Diddy would have. Except for, I didn't have, 150 boxes of Johnson & Johnson's baby oil in the closet. But it's the kind of house, that a celebrity would live in. And I was paying the same price that my daughter paid for a 1-bedroom shoebox in Pittsburgh. And that's not the first wicked deal. My daughter lived in the places that I used to live in. And now that when she was an adult, she's like, Dad, how did you do what you did? How did you find these things? A little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work, a little bit of Jesus, and a little bit of sticking to your guns and not lowering your standards and caving into certain things that people want you to cave into and do. We're at an hour, so I'm going to wrap this up with one more example. I was living in this beautiful old house right next to a park in Pittsburgh called Riverview Park. The backyard had access to the park. I had my own mountain bike trail going into the park from the corner of the backyard. And that mountain bike trail, my personal mountain bike trail, connected to about 15 to 20 miles of mountain bike trails that winded through the park. The park was one of 3 city parks in the city of Pittsburgh. And it was just another one of these, holy shit, how did you find this place kind of things. And in a lot of these cases, being a renter is better than a buyer because these places will have problems. And I can tell you for a fact that both of the 2 best houses, the 2 coolest houses I ever rented, I'm telling you about now, they both had issues and problems that cost tens of thousands of dollars to fix. Like major like homeowner nightmare situations. And because I was a renter, all I had to do was make a phone call and say, that's broke, come fix it. And somebody else would be the one paying tens of thousands of dollars to fix it. Like to the point where all the rent that I'm paying for the next 3 years is going to cover the cost of this one repair. That bad. Like, that kind of shit was happening. So that wasn't my problem. I made a phone call, it got fixed. Period. And these were good landlords. Both of these places were owned by people who cared about their properties. Now, one guy sold the house to somebody else so that it would become somebody else's problem. And I saw on Google Earth, because I check from time to time, that whoever bought that house started doing some rehab work to it. And it was actually, I was like, wow, that's impressive what they did. I could kind of see some things that I'm like, yeah, I remember that shit was about to fall down, and they went and rebuilt that part. Like, a lot of things got done. But somebody had to buy this house and put a lot of money into it. At the time, I didn't have that. The neighborhood wasn't that great. The house was great. The neighborhood sucked. The park access from the backyard, mwah, it looked the best. That was the best thing about that house. But anyway, I started out paying $850 a month for that house. After I had lived in it for about 2 years, I renegotiated the rent to $725 a month. How many people live in a place for 2 years and then have their rent go down? Let that sink in. I lived in that place for almost 2 years, and then I negotiated my rent down $125 a month, less than what I was already paying. And the landlord went for it. He said, yeah, sure, I can do that. Let that sink in for a minute. I went from paying $850 a month for this beautiful house, huge house, right next to the city park, with the park as my backyard. Literally, the park was my backyard. I was paying $850 a month. And then a year, 2 years later, whatever it was, I went from paying $850 a month to $725 a month. Yeah. Truth. It's another one that my daughter she knows the story. She's like, how the fuck did you do that, Dad? How do you do these things? How do you do that? And I've taught her a lot, because like she would have problems in certain things, especially when she was in college. And I taught her how to be tough, but to negotiate, not be a ghetto bitch that just does one of these things and throws a big fit. But I'm like, if you want to get your way, here's how you go about it. You have to first of all, you have to put your mindset in the mindset of the person you're negotiating with. And you've got to realize that you have the power and they don't in certain situations. Now, in my current situation, I don't have a pot to piss in. I don't have a foundation. I don't have a rock to stand on. So it's all a bluff, if anything, if I'm going to, get into some kind of negotiation right now. So in terms of like looking for a job, I have to pretend like I have if I'm going after a professional job, I can't just lowball myself, because that's a red flag to them. Even though I'd be willing to do $150,000 a year job for 75 grand and be happy about it, if I told them that I was willing to get that much, it would be a red flag, and they would be like, something's wrong with this guy, we're not going to hire him. So I got to pretend that I'm a hard ass and I have to play ball, and if they throw out an offer for 150, I got to be like, well, I'm going to need at least 175. Because but I don't have a foundation to stand on. I don't have it's a stupid game. But there was one situation with my daughter, and she was having some problem with the financial aid office at college, and I was like, you have to walk in there knowing that they need your money in order to keep being a school. So if they might say this, do that, this, that, and the other thing. They have to fix the problem that you're having because they messed something up. They filled out a form. They screwed up something, and then she was facing not being able to attend school for the semester. But it was all like a mistake on their part. And I said, and she was having a hard time getting them to fix it. And I was like, you have to find the right person to talk to and make sure that you hit home that they need your money in order to keep being a school. How much is tuition? How much money are they making from you being there? They're not going to throw away that money because they fucked up. You might have to escalate this, but you don't have to be rude. You don't have to throw a temper tantrum. You don't have to scream and yell. But be firm. Don't back down. And just, make sure that it hits home that, hey, if you don't fix this mistake, you're the ones throwing away, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it is that they're going to get. And I'll just go to school somewhere else. And, even though that's a pain in your ass, even though that's not what you want, you just want to get the situation resolved. It's like, okay, when you go to a car dealer, you have to be able to, number one rule I tell people when you're going to buy a car, do not let that fucking dealer convince you that you can't leave today without that car. That's how they got you. What you need to do is when you go look at a car, you need to be willing to just walk out the door. If you don't get what you want, if you don't get the deal you want, you walk out the door. 9 times out of 10, they're going to chase you before you get to the door and say, okay, we'll give you what you want. I got down to a point with a car negotiation to buy a vehicle where we were $100 apart. And I was like, nah, I just can't do it. I'm out. And I wasted the time. The place had closed like an hour ago, and we're still negotiating, and they're still playing their fucking game. I'm like, nope, this is the number right here. Oh, let me go talk to the manager. I'll be right back. They disappear for an hour while I'm sitting there with my son, and I'm like, you watching this? You see what I'm doing here? And he's just sitting there laughing, trying not, he's got a smirk on his face watching his dad play his games. But I had nothing to lose. I drove there in my Wrangler that I wanted to trade in for a new Wrangler. And I'm like, this is what I want. This is the price I want. If it doesn't work out, fuck it. I'll get in my Jeep. I'll drive home. I love my Jeep. Fine. I didn't lose. So we were $100 apart. And I was like, no. I'm like, this, I went back to the paper. I'm like, see that right there? You got to come down $100. Or I'm just, and they're like looking at me like, $100, you're really going to walk away from this after you came all the way out here? I'm like, I'm only an hour away. We're going to go out to dinner. We're going to, we went for a scenic drive. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, and I'm pointing out, I'm like, my Wrangler drives fine on the road. I've got the right size tires for going on road trips. This one that you're trying to sell me is all lifted with giant tires. I took it out on a test drive. I couldn't get the thing to go faster than 60 miles an hour. Believe me, I tried. I can't even drive this on the interstate because it's too mudded out. It's too lifted. It's got too big tires. The engine's underpowered. And I'm like, this is a beautiful Jeep that I was trying to trade my Jeep in for. But it was kitted. It was off-road. It was fully decked out. It probably had $15,000 to $20,000 worth of aftermarket accessories of every kind imaginable added to it. A full roof rack. I mean, the only thing that had that I didn't want was a soft top. And I was trying to see if I could figure out how to get the negotiation to where I can take the hard top from my Wrangler, put it on the Wrangler that I'm buying, and put the soft top from the new one on mine. But we were $100 apart, and I'm like, they're not going to go for the top swap. Because I was about to say, I get to keep my hard top, put it on this JK, take the soft top that you have on the JK I'm buying and put it on my JK, because then they're going to lower the trade-in value of my JK, and we're going to be more than $100 apart. I'm trying to figure out, how do I do this? But I still needed a Wrangler that I could drive on the highway, and my Wrangler could go 85 with the hard top. I could go about 85 on the interstate without too many problems. But this new one that I was looking at, the tires were so big, everything was lifted, the gearing was everything was at the point I could not make this. I took it out on a highway and I could not go faster than 60 miles an hour no matter what I did. I can't take this on the fucking interstate where the speed limit's 70 miles an hour. People are going to be passing me going 90 and I can't go any faster than 60. It's not going to work. I'm like, so I had all these I'm like, but you come down $100 and I'll make it work. Because I would have been like, this won't be the vehicle that I drive anymore to go to Pittsburgh and back. But I'll have a badass Jeep. And I won't really owe that much money on it, because after the trade-in value and everything all balances out, I'm basically financing like $5,000 or something like that. It was low. In fact, I thought I had a way to do it where I wouldn't even have to pay anything. It wouldn't be a straight trade, but I was going to get the money from, I basically had the money in the bank that I could, if they had come down at I could have wrote a check for the balance left over after my trade and walked away with a Jeep that was much newer and all kitted out. But we were $100 apart, and I was like, fuck this shit. Let's go home. I just grabbed my son. I'm like, we're going to go home. That's fine. Thanks for your time. Blah, blah, blah. I thought they were going to chase me down and say, In fact, I get in my Jeep, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking in the window. I'm like, where are they? Come on. Aren't you going to come out and chase? Aren't you going to come out with your finger? 1 minute. No, they didn't. They let me leave. So I'm like, all right, they'll call tomorrow. I even told my son, I'm like, they're going to call tomorrow. You watch. 9 o'clock in the morning. They open at 9. They literally called me at 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is what blows my mind. They called me at 9 o'clock in the morning, the very next morning. Now, when I left, it was over an hour after they closed. The dealership was closed. I was still there arguing about $100. And I walked. Because I'm a dick. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. $100. I was like, no, you're going to do what I want you to do. And if not, I'll get the fuck out of here. $100. I don't care. I'm just fucking with you at this point. Because I don't fucking care. You cannot go buy a vehicle and have any attachment to that shit at all. You need to be, it don't matter. You need to be able to just say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm walking out the door right now. And go. They may or may not chase you down. But it's, as soon as they know that you want this thing bad, you can't negotiate anymore. Because they got you. They know that you're going to cave in. But when they know you just flat out don't give a fuck, then you're like a nightmare customer, and they're either going to chase you down and cave in, or they're just going to say, we'll find somebody else. And either way, you win. So anyway, the next morning, 9 a.m. 9 a.m., they opened I checked after the phone call. I was like dumbfounded by this, and I looked and I'm like, yeah, they opened at 9 a.m. I get a phone call. It's them. And I'm rubbing my hands together. I'm like, haha, motherfuckers. Now I'm going to say I need you to come down 500. I'm like, well, you wasted my time last night over $100. Now you're going to have to come down 500. I had a whole plan. Because I just didn't give a fuck. I'm like, if I win, then I walked away with a smashing good deal. And if I lose, I just lost a couple hours of my time. So it didn't matter to me. I had no care in the world. It was a cool ass Jeep, and I wanted to buy it, but I was like, I'm just gonna fuck with these people and see if they cave in. 9 a.m. the next morning, I get a call. And the woman on the phone was one of the salespeople at the dealership, and she called me and she's like, I just wanted to let you know that we sold that Jeep that you were looking at yesterday, but we have a lot of other Wranglers on the lot if you'd like to come back and take a look. And I'm like, the fuck? I was there an hour after you closed, and you did not sell the Jeep to me because we couldn't come to an agreement. And you just opened your dealership at 9 a.m. and you're calling me at 9 a.m. to tell me that it's sold. Okay? So, I believe it, though. This Jeep was a smashing deal. This Jeep was this thing wasn't going to last long. I knew that when I started fucking with them. So basically what I figured out is they had a buyer on the hook. They had someone who was see, that's what happened. I was willing to walk away. They had a guy who wasn't. They had a guy begging them to come and buy this Jeep, saying, I'll come do it right fucking now, and I'll sign the papers right now. I want this thing so bad. I'll bend over, you can stick that cock up my ass as far as you can get it, and I don't care. I want that Jeep so bad. You can fuck me over, you can give me the shittiest deal imaginable. I want this Jeep. So they had that guy sitting off to the side but they probably told him, well, we have somebody coming to look at it today, but if that doesn't work out, we'll give you a call. And so that's why they wouldn't come down the $100 that I wanted, because they were like, well, we've got this other guy right here. He's going to let us shove a cock up his ass so far that it's going to pop out his mouth. And he's willing to take it up the ass, and whatever we tell him the price is, he's going to pay it. And we got this asshole over here who's hemming and hawing about $100. Fuck it. Let's call the other guy. We'll let him go home and call the other guy. And that's what they did. They called the other guy, and the other guy got shafted. The other guy was like, I'll pay the sticker price. I don't even care. I don't need to negotiate. I'll pay it. I'll write you a check right now. I'll take out a loan. And you can add all the bullshit add-ons, the extended warranty, the undercoating, the headlight blinker fluid adjustment fee, whatever. You can fuck me up the ass as hard as you want, and I want this Jeep so bad I'll just pay you whatever you want for it. And so that was why the walk away technique that I used didn't work, because they had somebody already there. That motherfucker came in at 9 a.m. on the dot and bought the thing. He was so... They were using me as you better act before it's gone. If this guy doesn't buy it, today's your lucky day. You can come in and get it, but if you wait 2 hours, it's gonna be gone. You know what I mean? Like, they pressure sold him using me as the fucking pressure switch. And I didn't care. I'm like, like I said, if they would have come down $100, I would have drove away with it that day. But they ended up making a lot more money because they suckered that next guy. The demand for this Jeep is really high. If you don't buy it right now, someone's going to get it out from under you an hour later, so you better cave in and just give us what we want. That wasn't going to work for me because I had nothing to lose. I had a pickup truck, a 4-wheel drive pickup truck. I had my Wrangler. I had a Mini Cooper. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I was trading in the Jeep to get a better Jeep. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll keep my Jeep. Fuck it. I love my Jeep. I don't care. In fact, there were things I wanted to take off my Jeep to put in the new Jeep that I didn't have time to... Like, I was thinking about maybe I'll take off my bike rack and take off the gun rack and some of the other stuff, so that when I go out there, I don't have to leave all that stuff on, and then I get the new Jeep, bring it home, I can put all the stuff on the new Jeep. They're both JKs. They're both the exact same Jeep. Different model years, but with the JK, everything fits. Everything from the old JK fits on the new JK. I could have put all my accessories and all my things back on the new one. But I'm telling you, there's other times I've bought a vehicle and did the walk away, and they did the come back, come back, come back. We'll work. We'll give you what you want. We'll give you the deal. We'll give you the deal. That's how I bought the Jeep I had. We kept going back and forth. And I said, and I never budged. I was like, they kept asking me, they kept counter offering my deal. I was like Rick Harrison on Pawn Stars. I was like, no, that's my final offer. And they came back, well, how about this? And I'm like, no, that offer I just gave you, that's the offer. That's the deal. And they came back, well, how about this? How about, well, we'll do this and we'll do that. And I came back and I said, nope. I said, I'll come out there with a check in hand. This whole transaction will take about 15 minutes. I'll grab the keys. I'll be on my way. But this is what it's going to be. And we went back and forth. It was all over email. We went back and forth for like a week on this. And I thought they were just like, they probably had it in their head they're going to get a different buyer. So they were stalling me. Finally, they just emailed me back and they said, okay, on one condition, that you accept the vehicle as is with no warranty. And I'm like, well, the warranty you were going to give me was only 90 days anyway. So fuck it. Yeah, fine. I'm like, I got to do an inspection. I got to look this thing over. The Wrangler had 20,000 miles on it. It was in some guy's garage for 8 years. It was an 8-year-old Jeep Wrangler. It was a 2008. Here it's 2016. It had 20,000 miles on it. The original tires still had the mold marks on the tires. It had never been, everything was brand spanking new. I opened the hood. The thing had never been taken off road. It had been driven 20,000 miles in the span of 8 years. This was somebody's summer toy that they took out during the summer and then left it in the garage all year long, except for when they were driving around with the top down. It was perfect. It was like the perfect deal. And I traded in a Jeep Liberty that I owed $3,000 on. I got them to give me $5,000 in trade. I took the $2,000, put it in to the Wrangler, got them down on the price to $17,000 on the Wrangler, and gave them a check for 15 grand, walked out the fucking door. Done. It took about 20 minutes. Well, it took longer than that because there was some paperwork bullshit with the Jeep Liberty that had to be taken care of. And so that took a couple of hours to get ironed out. But everything else was ready to go. It was just a formality. And then everybody's like, how the fuck did you get them to pay off your Liberty and give you $2,000 on top of that? And I'm like, and I said, don't forget the fact I got them to come down $4,000 on the asking price of the Jeep. Or no, $5,000. I got $5,000 off the asking price of the Jeep and then $2,000 above what I owed for the Liberty. So that was like a $7,000 swing on the deal right there. And I wrote a check and walked out the fucking door. All because I told him, I'm like, I don't need this. I don't give a fuck. You can give me the deal I want, or I'll just. Now, granted, I wanted this, but I didn't let them know that I gave a shit at all about it. In fact, when I went and looked at it, I was like, kind of acting like I might just go home. I did the same thing when I bought my Nissan Frontier pickup truck. It was pretty much a done deal as soon as I drove the thing, but the dealer. The salesperson didn't come with me on the test drive, which was good because I put it to the test on the test drive, and I had to go to a parking lot, lay down in the back of the bed to make sure that I'd fit because I was turning it into a mini camper, and I had to do some other things that I didn't want the dealer around for. But when I went back to the dealership, they were trying to get me to trade in my Wrangler. They wanted that really bad because I drove that up there. And I was like, nah. I'm like, I got a Mini Cooper I'll trade in. They told me they'd give me $1,000 for my Mini. Fuck that. I was like, no. I sold that Mini Cooper for $4,000. When I sold it for $4,000. I paid $5,000 for it in the first place, owned it for like 6 years, sold it for $4,000. You know the story if you've been watching these videos. I've told that more than once. But yeah, the number one thing is you got to be willing to walk away. Got to be willing to just say no. I've taught that to a number of people. It doesn't always work. You got about a 50-50 shot, especially this day and age. The car dealer knows that they're going to get some sucker to come in and buy the car full price, no negotiation, pay what's on the sticker, don't even haggle. A lot of these dealerships go, we have the no haggle price. Bullshit. They'll haggle. If they want to make the sale bad enough, they will. Sometimes they won't. I mean, sometimes that's their policy. And, you know, as a car salesman, that's got to be a shitty car dealership to work for. Because if the no haggle price is firm, how many people, I mean, how are you even making your commission if you're not allowed to wheel and deal and try to get the fucking sale? At that point, like, what are you? What's your point? What's your purpose being at the dealership? I don't know. But I don't know. You just got to be tough in this day and age because everybody's out to fuck you. And not everybody, but there's somebody around every fucking corner waiting to fuck you. And you got to be willing to fuck back. And at the end of the day, if you want to get anywhere, if you want to negotiate, if you want to learn how to get what you want, you can't have that emotional attachment. It could be a job, it could be a car, it could be different things, but you got to be willing to say, no, this is what it is, and if not, find someone else. Even if in your heart of hearts you really want this to work, you can't let that show on the outside. You just got to be like, nope, this is what it is. Fuck it. If it ain't gonna work, we'll move on. We'll go our separate ways. Thanks for your time, So I don't know. This was a long-winded hour-and-a-half rant about all kinds of crazy shit. You're watching the diary of a madman who's been pushed over the edge. And hopefully I can bring some more positivity to this thing, but right now I'm pretty burned out. Like, I can't even describe what I feel like right now. Like, just demoralized in every sense of the word. I accomplished some stuff today. Tomorrow, I'm getting myself up. Oh my goodness, I can't even believe what time it is right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to get up and try to accomplish some things 2 hours earlier than today. But I do have to go get my hair cut in the middle of it. I got to stop at Target and get one or two things. Necessary for this place. I don't want to get into that right now. Hopefully, although I don't know. Anyway, I just gotta take care of some stuff tomorrow, and I'm trying desperately to get a good amount of billable time in forward progress on projects, and it's just, I'm not lying when I said I had an easier time getting things done when I was homeless in Jamestown and going to the library to work every day. And now that I have my own workspace, my own permanent desk, my own permanent setup, my own internet connection, and I can just sit here and work, I can't sit here and work. And it's all because of this fucking piece of shit Slumlord that's fucking screwing me over. And the other part is the long bike rides to the bakery, and the fact that, I've got a probation officer who's very firm about how many hours I'm supposed to work and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I don't think I'm on like heavy probation. I think I'm on like, they've got different tiers of how far up your ass they're gonna go, and I'm on like either the bottom tier or one from the bottom. They have names, I can't remember the names, but it's like, almost nothing, almost light, medium, heavy, super heavy, up their ass completely every single day. And I'm on like either the bottom level or one rung up from the bottom of the stack. So, but I don't want to do anything to climb up that fucking ladder. So, with that, I'm just gonna let y'all go because I'm done. This is it. It's another day crossed off the list. Hopefully tomorrow's better. Peace out.